kilometres north of London is Cambridge, one of the world's best-known university towns. Here at this ancient academic institution, Isaac Newton, Charles Darwin and Lord Byron pondered the great issues of their day.
I don't know if you know the figures, but it's 75% of people up to the age of 35 are positive about Europe. Interesting, isn't it?
Now it's the turn of the comedian Eddie Izzard to urge students at the prestigious Students' Union to make their voices heard on the biggest issue facing Britain today, the vote on membership of the European Union.
I'm here talking to young people to put forward the ideas, and our ideas are more complicated. Our ideas are saying, yes, we're proud to be British, we're proud to be UK citizens, but also we like to look out and say, well, who are you? Are you French, you're German, you're Italian, and what do you do? Can we learn from you? Can you learn from us? Well, let's keep working on it. Let's keep seeing what we can do. We're trying to head forwards and put out our hands rather than pull back, put up a wall and put up our fists. That is more negative viewpoint.
I'm just going out there.
For these students, born and brought up over the decades of Britain's EU membership, they're being asked to help make a decision about a totally different future.
Short term, the economy. If we leave, it will definitely be damaged, and it seems senseless to leave such a powerful economic union.
Being a student and being somebody who studies economics, looking to go into the financial services sector afterwards, I think there's probably more benefits to remaining.
I'm a Eurosceptic, but I believe that economically the case is stronger than the political case.
I'm voting Leave because I think that we need democratic control in this country.
The university too has a lot at stake. Nearly a quarter of Cambridge University's research budget comes from the EU. Dame Athene Donald is the Professor of Experimental Physics and Master of Churchill College at the university. She's one of 150 scientists who signed a letter expressing grave concern for the future of the UK's universities and science.
I am terrified that we will leave, I really am, because I think the knock-on effects could be just catastrophic and unimaginable for probably the whole of Europe.
What is your fundamental fear here?
My fundamental fear is that science in the UK is fantastically strong. We're often rated only second to the US, despite the size of the country. And we get a very substantial part of our funding from the EU. And in terms of what the government itself puts in, we're rather low down the league table.
If the vote is to leave, I mean, the argument of the other side would be, well, the UK government will have more money that it's not putting into Europe, therefore it can make up the shortfall.
Indeed, that is the argument the Brexiteers make, but there is no evidence that that is what they would do. The government has made the right noises about science, but it isn't really investing. So why should we believe that they will suddenly change their policy and up the level of funding into research just because we've come out of the EU?
King's College, Cambridge, founded in 1441 by King Henry VI. It is the prospect of losing large sums of money from EU grants and funding that's created this sense of almost panic amongst academic institutions, whether of ancient origin like Cambridge or newer institutions. The reality is that for universities and colleges like King's, having survived for centuries, they're now facing perhaps the biggest threat, right to the bottom line. Cambridge, the university, and the cluster of companies that have built up around it is the closest thing Europe has to Silicon Valley. With more than 1,500 tech companies employing over 60,000 people, there's little doubt that Cambridge stands to suffer if the UK leaves.